closing deals to opening minds. This is the Mr. D podcast. I'm Omar Andreasen, and we're about to get real about real estate, success, and the grit that it takes to build your best life. Let's dive on in. Hey guys, this is Omar Andreasen, aka Mr. Deed, and welcome back to the Mr. Deed podcast show. Today, I am so happy that we have Mr. Tom Fleishel in the house. So let me tell you a little about Tom. He's actually the founder and president and CEO of Fleishel Financial Associates. He's actually based right here in DeLand, Florida. He's an independent registered investor advisor with Raymond James. He has over 35 years of experience helping entrepreneurs, corporate executives, and families achieve clarity and confidence in their financial lives. Tom has actually received his undergraduate from the University of Georgia, go Dogs, and an MBA from Stetson University. He also has a certified financial planner designation and has been featured in regional business publications such as Orlando Sentinel, Daytona Beach News Journal, and Volusia and Flagler Business Report. His firm focuses on providing clients with personalized strategies for retirement, investment, and life transitions. But I cannot forget, Tom is now also an author, which we will get more into. So Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Omar. I'm really excited about it. This could be great.
Awesome. Let's make it great. So, we're going to go ahead and start off with some questions here. Definitely want to make sure that the viewers and people listening can dive in and get a lot of great information from you. One of the questions I want to start off with is, what are some of the major issues and concerns your clients are experiencing right now these days?
Good Lord, there's a lot of things that people are on mind there right now. Think about the geopolitical concerns. Tax laws are changing. Interest rates are all over the place. They're coming down, thankfully. Markets have been a little volatile. I just think it's important that people try to stay focused. Markets always seem to recover and move back on track. There's also the things that people worry about, the normal things, their health issues, their family. Are they going to be okay? Are they going to be on track during retirement? So those are some of the things that people are thinking about. So for over 35 years, we've been working with all these different types of people. And one of the things that we find is they have this nagging concern that they're not being as intentional as they feel like they could be with their financial matters and their financial situation. So that leads to a lack of clarity and confidence that affects other areas of their life. They're wondering how all the pieces of their financial world come together, their 401k, their retirement, their tax situation, their estate planning, their insurance. All these things impact each other, and it causes a lot of complexity.
So what do you mean by that, complexity?
We call it the ceiling of complexity. So complexity can come from many things. It can come from making more money, complicating your taxes. It can come from previous advisors that maybe sold you things you're not sure how they fit into your current plan, like some investments or insurance products, for example. But more often, the complexity comes from having all these siloed aspects of their financial life. As I talked about, their investments, their taxes, their banking, their estate planning, their insurance. So if these things aren't coordinated properly, there could be some lurking landmines that come back to blow up your whole situation. Because if you make a decision in one area, we need to know how it's going to impact the others. So for example, if you make an investment decision, how's that going to affect your taxes? How you own those investments will affect your estate plan. Your beneficiary designations on your insurance policies affect your estate plan. So all these things do interrelate and impact each other. So then one other level of complexity on top of that is, well, suppose you have a great team of people. You've got your investment person. You've got a CPA. You have a good estate attorney. You have a good insurance agent. If these people don't talk to each other and coordinate on your behalf, guess who's at risk? You are. So that's why it's so critical that everyone on the team talk to each other and have a conversation and coordinate, because if they don't, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Now that makes sense. You left one person out, the real estate agent. Why does everyone always leave the real estate agent out? It's okay. So, Tom, let's quickly get into your book. So, your book is called Clarity and Confidence for Life, and it has the subtitle Living Your Financial Life by Design, Not by Default. Can you unpack that a little bit further for us?
So we believe it's totally possible to live your life by design and really be intentional about that. So we believe living by design has two parts. Number one, do you have a financial plan in place that sets you free to have that clarity and confidence and time to be intentional and worry less about the future? Number two is the second part of that is living by design is that freedom you get by having that strategy in place. You now have the time, you now have the bandwidth to focus intentionally on the things in your life that really matter. Your health, your family, your career, your hobbies, your spirituality, any of those things that you can't delegate. The things you can delegate are managing your investments, having a financial plan, having someone do your taxes, having someone make sure your insurance is in place. So that's why it's important that you make sure that you've got the right team of people and that you can focus on the things that you can't delegate.
Okay, that makes sense. So, tell us what actually led you to this career and got you focused on helping others gain clarity and confidence.
Growing up, both my parents were working in low-wage jobs that provided absolutely no freedom of time, purpose, or money. They were living by default, by design, had no clarity or confidence in their lives. They couldn't even afford a family vacation. We learned nothing about finances and handling money. And that lack of financial education from either parents or schools is really terrible. And we don't get that today in school, and most people don't get it from home, right? So we kind of have to figure this stuff out on their own. And that's kind of what happened to me. Right after high school, I went right in the Army. It was a great decision, wonderful decision that I got from that. And then after the Army, I got my undergraduate degree and worked in the private and public sectors. But it really wasn't something I was finding that was making a difference in other people's lives and helping me gain clarity and confidence for my financial situation. So while I was getting my MBA, I realized I wasn't really learning anything about personal financial management. I learned all about corporate finance, but it really didn't help about the personal side. So by divine intervention, I stumbled into someone who introduced me to the concept of comprehensive, holistic financial planning. I knew about brokers, I knew about insurance agents, but I really didn't know about how all this stuff should fit together. So I started realizing that this is an industry that I could actually do something that would allow me to live my life by design and do something that would help other people provide clarity and confidence for their lives and live their life by design. So I knew I didn't want to work for one of the big brokerage firms. It's all about the bottom line. It's not about the client. So that's why I wanted to go independent and started really actually a business. So I started out of the gate, not a client one. I was 31 years old and really struggled for about 4 or 5 years, but began to get some traction and realized that I can't take every client that can fog a mirror. There are certain types of clients that are the best fit for what I could offer. So again, just absolutely believe in being really intentional with clients' planning. And we want to help folks remove that complexity so they can live their life by design.
Love that. Love that. So tell me, what is the difference between an investment advisor and a wealth manager?
So most wealth managers are investment advisors, but not all investment advisors are wealth managers. So as a comprehensive wealth management firm, we assess every aspect of your financial life, including your savings, investments, and all those things we talked about, and help regularly monitor your progress towards those goals. Now, others call themselves financial planners, but they may only be able to recommend you invest in a narrow range of products like annuities or certain types of things like that. And maybe they're not really securities licensed. So before you hire a financial professional, you should know exactly what services you need, what services the professional can deliver, and what are their qualifications and certifications, like the Certified Financial Planner designation, for example. And then you want to know what you're paying for, how much do those services cost, and how the advisor is getting paid.
And how do they get compensated?
The old days, most people worked in a commission world. And so you sell a product, you sell a fund, you sell a stock, and whether or not the client makes any money, the broker was going to make their commission. And that's not like, most people don't want that kind of environment because there's an inherent conflict of interest. So most clients these days seek financial guidance and prefer to have a fiduciary manage their funds on a fee-based type of compensation structure. And that really helps to eliminate potential conflicts of interest in that relationship.
Okay. You just said the F word. what what does fiduciary mean?
A fiduciary is someone who manages money or property for someone else. When you're named a fiduciary and accept that role, you must, by law, manage the person's money and property for their benefit, not yours. So there's 4 basic duties we like to say. So act only in the best interest of your client. You're dealing with someone else's money, so you're only dealing with their situation. They manage other people's money and property carefully. They have important financial responsibilities and must carry them out with care. Number 3, they keep their money and property separate. They can't mingle or mix any of the things with their own, obviously, financial situation. And then they keep good records. They must keep true and complete records of their money and property, or they could face some legal consequences.
Okay, so you're covered there so it's a good thing to be a fiduciary.
Absolutely. It's all about, and most people nowadays are even aware that they ask me, are you a fiduciary? So that's important that there's more acknowledgement and recognition in our world that people are looking for that designation.
All right, so earlier when we were talking, you were naming the team members that you need to have, and you didn't say anything about real estate agents. So I'm in the real estate business. What role does real estate play in your clients' financial portfolios?
Most of our clients, and many of them, do have investment properties in the form of rentals, vacation homes, raw land. So we help them think through how does that fit into their overall portfolio, because diversification is good, right? We want to make sure we're diversified. And so many times people are over concentrated in one type of thing. We have clients that come to us with all their assets are tied up in their business, or all their assets are owned in 2 stocks, or all their assets are in 5 rental properties. So we want to diversify. So we help them think through how all those things fit together. We can also hold publicly traded real estate properties. They're called real estate investment trusts, and they're professionally managed. They can be international, regional, and all kinds of different sectors of the real estate market, like medical facilities, storage facilities, office complexes, shopping centers. So those are great for people that want to get a little bit more involved in the real estate market, but it's liquid and they don't have to worry about illiquidity with those types of assets.
Okay. So you've obviously been in the business for a while, 35 years, and I'm sure within those 35 years, you've had several different types of personalities and investors that you had to deal with, right? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, I learned long ago that I can't take every client that can fog a mirror, right? So certain ones are the do-it-yourselfers. Now, those are great people. There's a lot of people that think they know what they can do, and sometimes they're really good at it. They've done their homework, they've done their research, they dive into these trading platforms, they get on a discount program, and they can do their trades and research, and they're happy doing that. But I try to tell people in that vein, in that group, be careful that investing should not be another form of entertainment. I'm sure you probably think about that with your clients too. We're probably not going to be able to help those types of folks. In fact, we've even tried to help them and convert them into delegators, but they usually end up want to claw it back later. They can't take it. They're too much of a control freak. They got to do it themselves. And that's fine. But that's not the kind of client that I think works best for us and how we can help. So then we really target those people we call delegators. They believe there are more important things in their lives to do than research stocks and funds, and they would rather spend time with their family, their career, their business, their hobbies. So they can be fine with delegating the heavy lifting of this financial management to a trusted advisor team. And then we've lately we've realized that there's another group called the financial avoiders. They stick their head in the sand. They're not serious about making smart choices with their money. They hope and pray that it all works out in the end. And those people will never be successful because they're not intentional about their future and what they're trying to accomplish. So we can't really be more serious about their money matters than our clients actually are. We just want to bring it up to their level and keep them moving.
All right, so it sounds like the clients that you like to work with are the clients more, hey, listen, you know what? You hired us for a reason. This is what we do day in and day out. This is our profession. So let us do what we do, and you go do what you do, relax, and enjoy yourself. Is that correct?
That's it.
Love it. All right, so 2 more questions. Number 1, your book. How can anybody get a copy of your book? How much do we have to pay? Is it free?
We're working on some different avenues here. So first off, they can go to Amazon, and all you got to do is type in Clarity and Confidence for Life. You can also just Google that. It'll take us right to the landing page on our website. It will then direct them to be able to Amazon to be able to get a copy of the book. We have a hard copy, we have a paperback, and we have an ebook. And I'm also recording an audio version of the book. So that's going to be released here probably in the next couple of months. So I'm excited about that. A lot of people these days just prefer to listen rather than read. So that's the next step with that offering. But in the meantime, they can go to Amazon, and that's how they can get a copy of the book. I think the ebook is $2 or $3. It's very inexpensive.
Awesome. Okay. One of the last things I'm going to ask you before we get off, and I ask this to all my clients. I'm sorry, my clients. Thinking in real estate here. All the great people that are on our podcast. If you could leave just one deed behind, one action, mindset, or even lesson for anybody listening today, whether professional, an entrepreneur, what would that be?
So what would be a piece of advice that I could give them?
Yeah, just one piece of advice that you learned throughout your whole life. You know what? If I had to do it all over again, this is the advice that I would give my 21-year-old self.
It's that idea that I mentioned to the beginning. It's the intentionality. I tell my kids, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Stop making excuses. Stop being a victim. Take charge of your life. Get intentional and get focused and get help, because we can't figure all this stuff out ourselves. I love the idea of who, not how. There's a whole book written about that. It's a great book. And its whole concept is, look, I'm really good at what I do in a few things, but I'm not really good at a lot of stuff. And if I try to always do it myself, I'm going to get frustrated. I'm probably not going to get the best job done. So if I can outsource it to experts that are great at what they do. So for your business, people should rely on you. They're not experts in the real estate market. So I should outsource to someone like Omar, because that's what you do. For what we do, we're great at what we do. So people need to learn to delegate and focus on what they need to focus on.
100%. I heard the little bit of the military there when you're like, hey, just take responsibility for yourself. I was raised by a military
There you go.
Family. And then I heard a little bit of Mr. Henry Ford. I'm not great at everything, but there's a button here I can touch on my desk, and they're the ones who are really good. I know what I do best. I know what they do best. That's just why they're on their team. Before we get off, a couple of things. Number 1, I want to thank you for having Carson Beck join the University of Miami. Thank you. And most importantly, thank you for your service for our country.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate that. So before we get off, we want to make sure that you can please let us know, how can people reach out to you and your team, and what's the best way to do that?
The easiest way is probably just to Google us on the web at Fleishel Financial, Fleishel financial.com. We have a great website, a lot of good information. Our podcasts are recorded on there that we've done. They can also call our office at 386-738-1800 or reach out to me personally at thomas.fleischel@raymondjames.com.
That's awesome, guys. And obviously, Mr. Fleishel has a name last name like mine, where a lot of people cannot pronounce or spell, but don't worry about that. We will make sure that we'll put all the links here below within the description, so you can just click on it and make it nice and easy. Mr. Fleishel, thank you so much for having us on the show. A lot of great nuggets that you've really given us throughout. So thank you, guys. If you need to get your financial house in order, now you know who to reach out to. So stop procrastinating and get your head out of the sand. Once again, I want to thank you very much for having us on our show. Thank you for everyone listening. Now remember, actions build empires. Stay focused, stay hungry, and sometimes you just got to give life a little bit of whammo. I'm Omar Andreasen. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Mr. Deeds Podcast Show. This is Omar Andreasen signing off and reminding you that success in real estate and in life is built one deed at a time. Until next time, keep it real, stay sharp, and don't forget to give life a big whammo and keep moving forward.